Hi everyone, welcome to Hillside Harvest Homestead. Today we are going over calf training. Um, I've already trained my calf, so for today is for you and helping you learn how to train your calf. So, Apple here is about 6 months old and she was hand raised, so that helps with her being used to being touched. Okay, so that's the first thing that hopefully you want to work with when they're young, or if you get a calf, start working with them right away with touching them, getting used to you. First thing that you want to do is just put a halter on them. This is a full halter and it works. It fits her just fine. So if you're working with a calf that's used to being handled, putting a halter on is not going to be an issue. It wasn't an issue with her, but I would leave that as step one for the day. Let her get used to that halter for a couple of days. When she doesn't seem to be paying attention to it anymore, your second step is going to be putting a lead on her. They're not going to walk with you right away. So all I did with her was simply just put the lead rope on and then stand back. She would pull against me, she'd run around me, she'd try to kick out, not at me, but she's just jumping around kicking. Totally fine. That's what you need to expect. And I did not try to keep her close to me. I actually just held on to the end of the lead rope and let her go as far as she could with the lead. I did not move. So I just stayed in one place and she went around me. If you're dealing with a calf that is larger, I would not recommend holding on to the lead rope. I would recommend tying the lead rope to something that's really sturdy, like a fence post or something that's not going to break. And that cow or calf, preferably calf, will be pulling against that and not able to go anywhere. They'll get used to what it feels like to be tied to something. So I only worked with her for probably about a half an hour each time. It only took a couple days for her to get used to the fact that she couldn't get away from this lead rope. Eventually, she would just stand still. And that was when I knew, okay, well, we can take this a step farther. So once she was at that point that she wasn't trying to run around me anymore, I would just kind of gently pull against the lead, just gently, and have her take a couple steps. And then that'd be it. I'd release pressure, yay, good girl, and just continue to do that until she gets used to it. Once she's used to just taking one or two steps at a time, you can start working on trying to maneuver her a little bit more. So what you want to do, I'll come on this side, is pull them off their center of gravity a little bit. So you're actually going to pull their head kind of towards their side. It pulls them off their balance and they have to come towards you. Okay, and you're just going to keep doing that. And they'll keep following you, and you just keep doing this until they're used to it. You're going to go in both directions. Good girl. There you go. Good girl. Yes. Come on. Come on. Good girl. Yep. So you're just going to keep doing that until they get used to that. Once they're used to moving with you, you can start taking steps forward now. And so just take a few steps forward. You don't have to go to the side quite as much. If they struggle with taking a few steps forward, go back to just turning them off their center of gravity and making a little circle. So, and just be nice, a couple steps. If they struggle with it, go back to going in your circle. Good girl. Praise. This cow, and I would assume most cows, calves, like praise. When they're used to you and they're used to their people, they like their praise. So that's what I did with getting her to learn to walk on a leash. on a lead. At that point, once she was able to walk with me a little bit in the paddock area, I took her outside of our yard and we walked along the road. We live on a dirt road, so we can do that. And she did spook a few times with vehicles going past her, which was no big deal. You just obviously don't let go of them and bring them back to you, pat them, reassure them, and you keep going. I like to get them as used to as many sounds and activities going on as possible, kind of desensitize them to things. So vehicles going past is good, dogs barking is good. You know, you're running, go past neighbors and they've got dogs running along their fence line. It's great for them to be around it. Just keep them walking. Don't let them stop and stare at it for very long. Just keep them walking, like no big deal. You want to always be patting them. Brush them, come out and brush them every day or every couple of days, have them get used to it. I don't like animals in my space, especially big animals. Big animals can get really pushy and they can be dangerous if they're in your space. So when she gets in my space or she gets pushy, I do knock her on the nose or right below the eye. Not on the eye because you don't want to hurt them. But, you know, I will smack her, on the nose or below the eye. It's important that these animals not push you around. They can kill you when they get older, when they get bigger. So it is important that they learn their space. They learn their respect. So those things are important. She is part dairy and part beef. We have not decided if we're going to keep her as a dairy cow or if we're going to butcher her this fall. It all depends on if we can get a little extra pasture ground for her. If we can't get some extra pasture ground, then we won't have room for her. So we'll be putting her in the freezer. Otherwise, we'll keep her as a dairy cow. In the meantime, I am working with her as if we were going to keep her as a dairy cow. So what I do and have been doing for quite some time is that I will actually mess with her teats. So just coming along and you just mess with them and then pat her belly. Let her know that, yay, she stood still. She didn't kick at you. That's great. Come here, Apple. Come here. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. So I'll get kind of vigorous with handling her teats just because I want her to be desensitized to that, so that if we do keep her as the dairy cow, she's going to be used to being handled down there, used to her udder being messed with, her teats being messed with. So I get kind of gruff and I'll pull on the little teats that are there, pat her, good girl, good girl. And I make sure that it's just a short amount of time before she does get irritated and tries to kick. So before she ends up having bad behavior, I stop what I'm doing and let her know that she was a good girl because she didn't behave or misbehave at that moment. So at that point, that's really all you need to do for these little guys. If you are planning on trailering them and you want to get them used to stepping in and out of the trailer, go for that. But obviously they need to be leadable first. You need to be able to lead them easily, so that you would want to do this first and then take them into a trailer. When she gets a little older, it gets a little bigger, I'll start working with her if we keep her in the milking stanchion long before we ever breed her or before she ever calves. So getting them used to things ahead of time. Lots of pats. She loves her pats. She loves her belly rubbed. Yep. Pressure, and then when they follow, release the pressure. That's all there is to it. So getting them well used to anything that you want to have them around. If you're going to show them, you obviously need to get them used to the different brushes and the vacuums and the noises and, you know, anything that they're going to be around. So you want to just desensitize as much as possible. get their confidence up so that they aren't nervous around new things all the time. So, but that's it in a nutshell. Super easy, huh, girl? Yes, it's super easy. So I hope that this helped you. It's just real short video on this. It really is pretty easy to train these little guys. I would recommend training them when they're younger, they're smaller, and they're easier to handle. This is a good size. She's not too big, but she's old enough to kind of understand what we're doing. Yes, you're a good girl. Yes. No. So have fun with your little calf. Make sure that they know their limits. Don't spoil them, and help them gain their confidence in you and in their surroundings, and enjoy your animals. Thanks for joining us today. Please, if you are enjoying the videos that we have, like and subscribe, share with your friends, and come back for more. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.